Buckle up, boys and ghouls. It's time for another exciting episode of Frightening Friday.
Hi, I'm Mike Deschaine, and
this is Ben Willis, played Cedric on the show.
Yeah, I played the Creepy Reaper myself. We'll both be commenting today on, which episode is this again?
I don't know what the title was, but this was the planning of the wedding between my character and Heather's character.
I believe it's episode 6, so the very next one in the series. I mean, from the last one we did.
We just did episode 5.
Turning the tables.
Turning the tables. Thank you. We didn't go over that a minute ago. Sorry, I apologize.
Kitchen.
You mean out in the studio?
Oh, yes. The control room.
He's in the control room.
Yeah, we're here at Paramount Pictures doing this.
Hey, while you're in the kitchen, make me a sandwich, will you? I'm not laughing. What are you laughing about? This is just to set up and, give you what happened the week before.
Previously. I can't do that voice. I wish Eric, by the way, does all the intro voice and those raspy sound effect voices.
Yeah. Originally for this, I just thought of something for this intro. We wanted to shoot something like smoke rolling down the hallway, like the Creepy Reaper is overtaking, the BUTV studio and commandeering the airwaves, just like the story says, to tell the story instead of actually, script the story.
Except just the text and the...
Yeah.
Well,
this was production quickness. Time was a factor, so this was just the easy way out.
Well, the original... I think Eric, when this first aired, I think Eric had the original screen left over from the old Fright Night Friday show that he did at California University.
Yeah, he just changed. Basically, it's the same script. It's the same scroll.
Yeah.
But
revoiced it for the DVD, redid the graphics.
Yeah, well, my problem with it, the only problem I have with it, I mean, yes, it's essential. It tells the story to set up what's going on, but it seems to be very long of an intro for week after week after week. I mean, if you follow the show, you know what's going on, but is this for the new viewers that don't know what's going on?
Plus, if you drop in the middle of this, you're like, what the hell is this? You're going to change the channel.
Right.
Continues to be mysteriously broadcast from a nearby castle under the...
I like that fire effect, though.
Yeah, it's nice. It is. We had those rolling clouds like the thunder. It was weird. I don't know if I remember this episode off the top of my head now.
Yeah, it's... I was telling Eric last night when we were here doing some for the other commentaries for the other episodes. This whole production, the whole show for me is a blur. Honestly, I mean, the show itself and going through and producing it, the whole thing was just such a blur. So it's hard for me to remember. Oh, that's right. This week we did this. This week we did this. Because I never got copies of these. So this is the first time I've seen this episode in 2 years.
Yeah, sorry about that. I kept meaning to get those. We planned something out to get them, to get Ben some copies and meet up, and it never happened.
Far too many times.
Then I had
Creepy's fault.
Dog Creepy's fault.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
No, but then I had to leave. I couldn't even make Mac Colosimo any copies because his DVDs were messing up. I don't know. I couldn't copy.
I never returned my calls.
I couldn't copy my DVDs on it for him.
Hey, I gotta ask one thing. Do you guys ever feel like Superman and Clark Kent, like you're Creepy Reaper, and then when you're going to class, hey, if they only knew.
I thought of that sometimes.
While we were
Especially at Cal, it was one of the weirdest,
While we were doing this show, I was kind of freaking out during the spring semester. I'm thinking, okay, someone's gonna recognize me from the show. Someone has to be watching this.
Well, let me.
Well, I was gonna say, and finally, it was the last week of the semester, and I went to see. I don't know what movie was running that. Spring of '05, whatever the big movie was. I went out to the movie theater, and the girl working the concession stand is like, I know you. You play that butler. I'm like, kick ass.
That's one thing. That's one thing I always had a problem with on the show is that nobody knew who I was. That Yeah, that did bother me a little bit because people saw like, oh, I saw you, and they're like, who's that weirdo in the mask?
They look at you like, you can leave now.
Yeah, pretty much. But what I was gonna say, and
Behind a plastic mask.
and Eric will know this one actually. It's even weirder since I've been to. Actually, Jody will know this too. Have you been to the TV station, Jody? Yeah. Okay, like. There's a plaque still up of a newspaper clipping of the spooky specter, the original Fright Night Friday. So it's really weird because it's the same idea, similar costume, and it's not me. And I was like, what? It's so weird. And it's from like 1941. Like it's still up. I don't know.
Late 19th century.
Anyway, back to this. I just thought that was a weird, kind of neat tidbit of info.
I never really saw this show as being a remake. I always saw it as something new.
I agree.
This, we did. We were trying to take an old idea and give it a new twist. So it was original. This finger thing.
Puppets. Oh God, the finger puppets.
This just came out of we had nothing to go with, and Jeremy always did this little stupid finger puppet thing, and we're like, use it, do it in the show.
We'd be in the writing room, and he'd just do this to he's sitting in the corner. He'd just relieve tension, I guess.
It was amusing.
He just to keep himself occupied. And we said, dude, you have to use that on the show.
So yeah, let's get back onto the show because we went off onto a rant for the whole first segment almost.
How heavy were those doors really?
They really weren't pretty heavy actually. I mean they were decently heavy.
Yeah, but they weren't that hard.
No, they weren't that heavy. The first episode I ever did, I just opened it up like normal, and Eric stopped the camera. He was like, "No, have a hard time with it. It's a big vault door." He's like, "Come on, grunt a little bit."
Well, it's well balanced.
He's like, "I want you to have a hernia."
Hey, I see the hair's growing back.
Speaking of hernias.
The action. Yeah, I got my eyebrows back too.
Of course, by this point, Joel had gotten into his final version of his Igor costume. We've gone through about 4 of those, I think.
Yeah, that is actually a scarecrow costume. I don't know if anybody's mentioned it before in a previous commentary, but it was a scarecrow costume that sweatshirt again. He always wore that sweatshirt, that hoodie.
It was the one piece of the costume that kept going.
But yeah, that sweatshirt was just in every episode. He wore it every day of his life as a jacket,
Unfortunately, I never got to see him much outside of the show. We'd pass in classes, but that's about it. That was the other thing, is that we as the cast and crew really kind of came together as this little family while we were working on the show. And
we did.
Even though we really didn't have much contact, even though most of us were mass comm students.
I was gonna say, what's funny is like nobody actually started hanging out like as friends. I know like Leah, Heather, and like those guys all hang out now until the following semester.
Yeah.
Because like I think we saw too much of each other. We did not want to hang out outside of doing the show. So yeah, we did. You do get close knit with somebody who every week you're together. You have fun, great time.
Working together on average. Each shoot on Sunday would take about 8, maybe even 10 hours.
Yeah, they were long, and we shoot them all in one day for the most part.
Get there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and we'd leave at midnight, or even 1 or 2 o'clock. I mean, we'd be there for 12-hour days. It was crazy. And then we come back Monday evening, after all the classes were done at 9, and then we'd sit and we'd write until midnight or 11 o'clock again. Usually till midnight or later.
Yeah, still with Jeremy taking my ideas and telling them to people.
Drop it.
Bothered me. I mean, he had his own good ideas too. He's a really funny kid. I'm not saying that at all.
I agree. Sometimes the room we were in there, and it was just this cacophony of people, popping ideas up, and the same idea would get, you'd say an idea, get bounced around to someone else, get bounced around to someone else. Then finally, someone would say, "Oh, that is good," I do remember that was you voicing that. That was one of your pet peeves when writing. Was that back when we were doing that? It's like no one listens to me.
No, nobody did. Nobody takes it. They're like, "Oh, shut up, you goofy man in a mask."
You can see. We actually had 2 pianos backstage. The one we used on the set. God knows why there's two upright pianos back in the back there. But this is the storage room.
God knows why half the stuff back there was back there. Stuff they didn't use.
This is where those big doors lead to. But at this point, it doubled as the Axe File, one of the Axe Files things.
I love this. No, I love this because what is that? It looks like he's doing something important. That's like a little beaker they found somewhere, like a pie pan. It's like a pie tin and like plastic skull hands with like water in them, and it looks really good on camera.
I love how he has the painting from the last episode, from the format change episode. He has the paintings.
Oh, does it?
Evidence. These
Stack of evidence against the Reaper.
I did not notice that.
Random props are just sitting in this pile in the corner of the room from everything else we had done up until that point.
I did not notice that in the back. Yeah, this is.
Goblets is sitting there.
See, this room was like the multi-purpose room too, because it doubled as Mahler's office. His.
By the way, that poster in the back where it says "I want to believe," it did not print correctly, but I think we said it looks so pathetic we have to use it anyway. So we got all these lines running through it where the coloring cartridge ran out. Said,
you can't tell at all.
Post it anyway.
You can't tell at all. Oh, I see it.
There's the painting.
But
later reused.
But yeah, this room, like I was saying, was like. What I mean, it was the basement of the Axe Files. It was Mahler's office.
Lair of the evil.
Yeah, Evil
Reaper. You see this?
We didn't get there yet, Ben. Shh, there is no Evil Reaper. What are you talking about? He does not exist.
Not yet. Not yet. I agree.
Ben just blew the surprise ending.
Oh, big twist ending.
What's the twist ending?
Yeah, what is the twist ending?
With the Evil Reaper. No, I know.
This one. But
He mentioned him.
Talking about the storage room was so many different places.
Remember.
Storage room was so many different places there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's funny how the storage room is FBI headquarters.
FBI headquarters, everything. Here's one of those instances where the smoke machine just went crazy on us. Where this was, the umpteenth take. And by the time we got all the fog out into the room, we had to reshoot the fog, and it just filled the whole entire room. Oh, this is...
This, I really could not get that cell phone open because of those gloves. I really could not do it. I just wouldn't work. And apparently he left to take it. Yeah. Oh yeah. What is this? A Rubik's? No.
Rubik's Cube.
Rubik's Cube.
I gotta make a little extra.
You can't do it.
You tell anybody about this, and I'll gut you.
Don't worry.
Hey, how's it going?
It's actually both the same phone. And
Yeah, I think you're right. But this we actually did script out. Some of them in other episodes we didn't script out the phone dialogue, and you can tell. But I think this one we generally kept it pretty kosher.
Kind of is a problem.
I agree.
Well, hey, listen. You have to destroy that tape at every cost.
Oh, actually, yeah. Watch when it cuts back to her. That is actually the. See, that is the storage room as well. She's supposedly down in the basement at the Axe Files agency.
The other side of those doors, actually.
Yeah.
What? CSI is 2 hours long this weekend? Oh my gosh. What? Oh, you know what? I'm not
There
gonna.
was so much junk back there. It was just, the gathered crap from the department, from actually I think 2 or 3 different departments, from over, however long that building had been in use, from the mid-'80s. And then Eric and I mentioned in an earlier commentary that we would find pieces of things that we could use in the show. We found that 50-year-old television, buried in a corner of the place. We said we have to use this. We found.
We don't see that one yet either until episode 8. This is 6.
No, we've seen that before. The television.
In this? Yeah, isn't that?
Not this episode. I think it's like episode 4.
Did we use it?
Yeah, that was a previous episode.
Are you sure?
Yes.
All right.
I think we may have also we came back and reused it in the Sexy Saturday Nights episode, but we initially found it.
That's the one I was talking about. That's the only one I remember it in.
Yeah, but then we used it for
A lot of these shows actually just blend together in my mind.
It's a blur. It's an absolute blur.
It seems like it was like one big night that we shot all of them because it was so long. But the good points, we'd break, get pizza, and Or actually, no, when it was smoke time. When one person said, and I think it was usually Jody Reichert, who said, I'm going to go smoke, like pretty much the whole crew disappeared.
Those of us who didn't smoke.
In my defense, I was in the control room with Kate McCarthy. I needed to smoke. And everybody else smoked too, so whatever. They just joined. I hate you.
Hey, get out of here. Get out of here. We're doing a commentary. That was Jody Reichert. Smoked. What?
You're on the show, you numbskull!
What did she do? What did she do on the... What did she do on the show? No, I'm kidding. She was the technical director.
That's it, huh?
I love you, Jody.
What were these folders up, Eric? Can you come in here? Tell us, what were these folders that I had on the table here?
Oh, old scrapbooks that I
Scrapbooks from the previous shows, from previous productions of things, and I'm supposed to be sitting here, I guess, looking at things for the wedding that we're supposed to have.
The Ninja Turtle napkins.
Yeah, Ninja Turtle napkins. Damien's, of course, in the back, in the throne, plotting to overthrow the wedding because it'd break up the little family.
His wife, and he's not going to want to be at a wedding.
Of course, yeah. What about Jim Doyle?
Jim Doyle. Oh, poor Jim. Poking more fun at him. Of course, you had to have seen, a couple episodes before to even get that joke.
Oh, of course. My college friends, of course. Yeah, I must go get a yearbook. I'll check them out.
Go ahead.
Jim Doyle. Yeah. That was... Sorry, I was kind of vegging out there again for a second. I was watching the show and not really paying attention to what I was doing.
You get sucked into this when we're watching this.
Yeah, but aren't you surprised at how many memories actually come back to you, like as you're watching the show?
What am I gonna do? No kidding. You're weird.
You're weird.
Don't start that.
I loved it.
Now, I'm sure you folks at home.
It's the wrong camera.
Yeah, I looked at the wrong camera. I did that quite a bit. Actually, there's a blooper reel where I keep...
There's no light. I mean, a lot of studios have this light on the camera that lights up when you're on that. We don't have that.
You're right.
So we had to have the floor director tell us, look at that camera, look at this camera, for this shot, just point to them. Half the time.
Yeah, you're right.
They'd shift around. So
you're totally right. I forgot about that. Yeah, we never had... Those lights never worked. Because...
they were never... I don't think they were even hooked up right.
Yeah, exactly. Which is kind of stupid. You think they should have those hooked up, but we're not going to judge.
No. I guess we can both talk freely. Neither of us are in the department anymore.
Oh, did you change?
Yeah, after this year, I actually
music.
I have to mention this. Jeremy was one of my big influences. Jeremy Mertz was actually a recording major in the music department at Bloomsburg, and he during the semester he was working on one of his projects. I saw him, working on it. I said, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Orchestration, for the stereo." Oh, you're in the music department. And I started to think, that might actually be where I want to be. Not necessarily this department, but that, So I actually, after we were done with this, I said, you know what? Show's over. I don't have much reason to stick around here. It's not what I really want to do, so I switched majors. And, of course, you went and actually changed schools eventually.
This scene...
Oh, the socks!
What are you doing? I hate her.
You get a better quality education from a one-eyed walrus.
From a horny manatee. You can see a picture of Mendoza at hornymanatee.com. You can.
We love you, Maria.
Sorry. Something I was drinking. I don't know where that came from.
Here's an appearance from...
Why'd you just tell her we love her? Do you think she's actually going to see this? What do you... Ever?
Oh, but I don't know.
Yeah, this is Joe.
You never know.
Joe DeMola.
Joe DeMola, who worked on our website, among other things.
PartyTimeJoe.com.
Yeah, PartyTimeJoe.com.
That's his website.
I think he also worked on BloomUtoday.com at some points with his friend. His friend actually runs it.
He might not want to take a career in sending, what do you call it, musical messages, Singing telegram is the word I was looking for.
Revised blues telegrams.
Yes, you inherited my castle.
It's really funny because as the show progressed, as we went on, like, okay, yeah, we started off with just like 3-4 characters, and we, slowly implemented new characters. But by then, I think we had people like requesting to be, can I get on the show? Can I do this? Can I I want to play a part. So there's like little cameos of just people.
Because I was always telling people, dude, you have to watch this show. And I was always raving to him. So my friend Dave and a couple other people, like, specifically Dave, but other people like, oh, it'd be awesome if we could get on a show like that.
What sucks is like commuting and not living in Bloomsburg. I didn't get the station. I didn't get the channel. I couldn't watch it air.
Yeah.
I
in the writing room we'd sit down and we'd watch the segments.
Well, that's why I hounded Eric to get those copies. I made my own copies. Like, I just got the original disc. But yeah, exactly. And I would show people. I'd show you. Do you know? Oh, hang on. Let me think of his name.
No.
Not important.
I only have one wick.
More finger puppetry.
What am I going to do? Figure something out. Now, you. Go back to the movie.
After a while, we threw the responsibility of throwing the brakes and coming back from brakes, specifically throwing brakes. It used to be Creepy would do 90%, and then after a while, the rest of the characters started getting in on the act.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, like, everything was getting so redundant. I mean, like, go down to the video vault. What movie are we going to watch? But so we had to change it up.
We even dropped the video vault after a while.
You're right.
Once we got really deep into the plot, we just dropped that completely, and we just came to you. And then, of course, once the main thing happened, everything went to hell, we had to start the plot early. So we couldn't take the time to take 2 segments before we can even get into any kind of joke.
Left me his estate.
Right.
Woohoo! Yeah, I love that big old place.
Yes, it is very nice, but there was a stipulation apparently in his will that if I am to inherit it, we must be wed within a week.
A week? A week? 7 days? A week? No.
Well, I know this must come as a great shock to you, dear, but it really does seem as if we have no choice in the matter.
Choice? She has no choice.
Choices.
That is one of my favorite scenes, actually. Just because of the whole off-camera, like, Joyce! Tell her to kill him!
Dispose of the Axe Files.
Because that just proves that Creepy's his own little world, and he heard what he wanted to hear.
What are you doing down here? Nothing.
Christina Crafty did a really good job with this. I liked it.
Of course, she really works with the underlighting, too.
Like, she's creepy?
Oh, she's kind of pale,
I'll see you later, okay?
I miss her, actually. I just one girl I would like to see back here again at some point.
Creepy was the biggest lecher in the universe, though. I have to say that. We were talking about that earlier, especially with Gigi.
We're one and the same, man.
So obvious why why Creepy had Gigi floating around the castle all the time.
Right. So wait, is that what was I typecasted? Am I just a pervert? Am I just a pervert? So he wanted me to.
Okay, that's an affirmative yes from Jody out in the commissary.
I think she's out there smoking. What's she doing? Jody Record smoking? Is that what's going on?
What are you carrying? What was that?
Where's my sandwich?
Who do you like better, Tim McGraw or Toby Keith?
That fog machine was the bane. What?
I thought, yeah, we did this as a joke just because, like, we have Creepy, like, he can't wait for Cedric to move out. He's just carrying random stuff. That tree has made it onto every set at Bloomsburg University, I'm pretty sure.
At some point.
Probably that wastebasket as well.
Steak. Do you like pie?
I think it's really funny with the long shot how Creepy just walks by.
Everyone likes pie. I love that line. Do you like pie? Everyone likes pie.
Here, take Igor with you.
Hey, I have one question I want to interject here.
The hole in his pants is perfect.
He's Jeremy's suggesting what kind of music to play and that kind of thing, and he said Toby Keith, and you looked at him and said, "Do you have anybody that's less racist?" I don't understand what that meant.
Racy. I think he said racy.
I said racist, and I don't know why.
You meant racy?
No, I said racist, but I don't know why we did that.
actually started thinking about Toby Keith. Like, what did he ever do? This
I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea why.
He's not racist. I bet you meant with the war. He's very opinionated about the war, I bet you. I'm trying to help you out here, Ben. I don't know.
No idea why we did this.
He's very pro-war.
Well, then who the hell are we fighting? The Klingons? What do you mean racist? Please let me know how the war with the amphibians goes.
Oh, man.
Here's another one of our trivia segments.
That would be a speciesist.
Speciesist.
He's very specious.
Dracula's servant resurrecting Dracula from a pile of ashes. In fact, Christopher Lee, who does play Dracula, of course.
We tried to implement this into every episode too, like a little Cedric tells the audience some information about the show, and you see clips
about. I think somewhere after episode 8, though, we stopped doing it.
Honestly, in a way, it began as like something to do. We had nothing. It was a filler. If you watched that first episode, we read a letter on the air. What's that all about?
Fake letter, I think.
Yeah, but like, so I think as the show got more involved and we had more of a story element, we got away from that.
All these little, oh, this week, in this segment we do this and this. Well, we don't. After a while, we just got away from that because we had only so much time that we could do with the movie. Because we had 2 hours to fill for the entire show, but we also had to make space for the
the problem with that is that you just end up editing down the movie.
Which in these cases might be an improvement for a lot of these films.
Grease and whatnot. Oh, here we go.
These Playboys, whose Playboys were they? Were they mine? I think I brought them. Yes, they were mine.
You can just get lost in our eyes forever.
I don't know why I had them. They just...
Really? You lecher.
Leave me alone.
Bill count. Here. Sure. Show you the picture of it right here in my wallet.
Oh, picture of his girlfriend, that's right.
Wait a minute. But I had that exact same picture in my wallet. It's right here.
This is an old joke, actually. This is an ancient joke, where, he pulls out his wallet to show him the picture of his girlfriend, and of course it's the stock photo from the wallet company.
It's an old joke. I didn't know that.
It's an ancient joke.
It's like a castle at Times Square or something. What was that all about?
I never actually got to see a lot of these, partly because the video system on campus kept screwing up.
Did you guys just look at the wallet thing?
Yeah.
If I could have pulled it off, how I would like to have ended that?
Yeah.
Where like him and Carmen Electra walk across the set, and he really is dating Carmen Electra. You know what I mean?
Right.
That was kind of funny.
I did some reconnaissance last week down at Castle Blood.
How did you do that? The place has been abandoned.
This is the boardroom, actually, where we ended up writing a lot of stuff.
Ah, yes, you're right.
Of the existence of the creepy.
Good eye, man.
Well, I saw those stupid Japanese garden scenes in the background. God knows why someone hung them up there. Probably, when the place was built in like '83, they've been there since the place was built.
I about died the first time I saw this, with Matt Colosimo singing "Pretty Woman" into the camera with a what do you call that? Like a loofah.
On a stick. God knows why he recorded himself doing that.
Yeah. That was hilarious.
I mean, from the character's perspective, God
right.
knows why the character did that, but...
And that was her mission accomplished right there. So she thinks.
Yep.
And, yeah, Christina knows something's up. Or, I'm sorry, Scully. Something's not right about that girl.
It's kind of odd. Sometimes I'll be talking to someone about the show, and I can't remember one of the actors' names. All I can think of is the character name. It's like Joel. It's like, God, who played Igor? Who played Damien? What was his real name? Because after a while, you're on set and you're talking to everyone, as the character, and it's like you start to forget who they really are. You start to see them as the character.
You're right. That's why I almost called you Cedric. How many times? This scene, actually, the end scene, There's an ending scene where you guys actually go through the marriage process with the streamers up, I believe. That was shot before this scene because we had to keep them the right way and we had to rip them down.
A lot of times there really was no option for a reset. You know, so we had to either shoot things in a reverse order and say, "Oh well, we put them back up." Ha ha ha. You know, but no. We were tight on. We had there was no budget. I mean, any budget. Eric, we have to say this. We're so grateful for you. Like any random part of the budget ended up coming out of your pocket half the time. Like.
Sometimes. I mean, we had a budget through Bloomsburg, but I'm pretty sure by the time we did the made the set, it was all used up.
Props and materials or something.
Did you ever get reimbursed for those? That was
Are you kidding me?
That was a resounding no.
Do I still teach there? There's your answer. Get out.
This one was on this tape. I mean,
packing peanuts.
They quite possibly could have been. I missed it.
Yeah, there you can see the screwed up picture in the background a little bit better. Stuck on the door with mask. Now those doors,
nobody can tell.
If you can watch those doors where that thing is taped onto, those doors lead into Studio 3, which at this point was destroyed. And then there's actually another set of doors off the left that go into Studio 2, which we had used on occasion as a dressing room. And then if you actually that other door and single door in the corner actually leads to a film editing bay, which actually I think got flooded out.
And I was going to say, since when does Bloomsburg have film? I don't know. You used to did something.
I mentioned Stu. You know.
It's the only person I've ever met that did anything with film. I do not know how to splice and cut film.
Yeah. I think he was the last person to use that place. And then there's like a pipe that burst overhead, and all this wonderful old equipment just got destroyed. And yeah, I think those are those are skeleton hands. They just look like packing peanuts.
Yeah, that was like a little. I remember those came in like a little bag. It was like just little random things for like party. Yeah.
Getting that battle axe, that spray painted battle axe. The bomb in the suitcases. Half the stuff, like I said before, was brought in by, cast members and crew members. And they said, "Does somebody have?" Smile for the picture. We're getting our picture taken again. And the streamers are magically back up. I think there's actually
See, that's what I mean. They were back up, and we just shot the other one first. We shot this scene first, and then him ripping them down.
It's movie magic.
Oh, this is almost over. I really have to go to the bathroom. I have to urinate very badly. That's all this water I've been drinking from talking. Yeah. I just thought the audience might like to know that. I'm sorry.
But I haven't done anything before, sir.
Exactly. You know what? Whatever gets you out of here quicker. I have all your bags packed. I'm going to go get the last one right now.
Yes. Well, Damien, you truly have been...
God, I was so much thinner back then. Really?
Pretty sure we all were, dude.
Oh, poor Damien.
See what happens when we're not like running around making TV shows? We just sit around and like think about making TV shows.
No. Why do you ask me all these questions? Hey, I think you're crazy. I think you're right. But in 1 week,
although
things are gonna be
I can't think of anyone who could pull this off better than Jeremy though. Hey, this is our little spoof on the Dukes of Hazzard. Beaver and potato salad just came from, yeah, it was just random. So we're like, let's think of two things that don't go together. And Jeremy was like, a beaver and potato salad?
Red Sox for that there wedding. Find out next week on a spine-tingling episode of Fright Night Friday. Yeah!
That's a really good ending. I like it. Especially with the General Lee. I like the General Lee flying across. That's another DVD, what do you want to call extra, you want to call it? It did not air originally like that. And we Yeah, I don't know why. Like originally, everybody still has them. Everybody has the little what do you call them? Nicknames. Actually, if I recall looking at that, Eric still does not know how to spell my last name. It's been 2 years. He still has that damn S capitalized. It's not. It's capital Deschaine. It's spelled correctly. It just has that capital S, and it pisses me off.
Oh, Shane.
Yeah.
D-E-C-H? There's no S?
No, there's an S. I'll tell you about it here in a minute. But you still have it wrong everywhere. The beginning credits, everything. But, well,
we're done here. See you, folks.
Yep, thanks for listening to us comment.